The key to understanding today, the key to being aware to today is what what is it that you want? What is it you really want? What is the thing that you think you're missing? That's your signal. What is the skill that you think you need to do more of? Doing what you're currently doing from your doing. This is literally Wallace D. Waddles. It's not that you're not doing it, but you got to do it in a certain way. All right. So the key to understanding the good morning, Jameson. The key to understanding this is you're not broken. You're not lost. You're not distracted. You've simply decided that what you want to do, what you need to do, you're already doing it. That's the key. You're already doing it. You're it's this thing that to become aware of what's happening in your world is that all of this is happening. The thing that is driving you, the thing that is making you become aware, if you have awareness, you've already gone past your signal. That's the part that's most difficult for people to grasp about finding your signal. If you become aware, if a feeling has shown up, it's already come from your signal. If a thought has already come up, it's already come from your signal. This is before you think it, before you feel it, before you can explain it. There's your signal. This isn't about mindset. It's not about motivation. This is about remembering the part of you that was always present. And we have skipped over it. We have stacked so much stuff on top of it. Your signal isn't missing, it's underneath. It's underneath all of this. And truly, this is what happens when you get into meditation and using all of the tools that you have available to you that are currently all available to you. What I'm doing inside of the Nest program is elevating and moving that to an entirely new level through dual talk and chakra activation, all of the things that we've done on these training calls. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to feel it again, how to feel that signal that's underneath. Wherever you are, wherever you're at right now in your world, the key to your next level of success is finding your signal. It's not lost, it's underneath. You know, that set of car keys you couldn't find and it was underneath the paper right in front of you? That's your signal. That's your signal. The pair of glasses that you were looking for that were on top of your head. Can't find your cell phone, talking to somebody going, I can't find my cell phone. And you're on your cell phone talking and you're like, ugh, it was right there. I already had my phone. That's your signal. Those moments, that feeling you have when you realize I already had it. I never lost it. I just forgot where it was. Have your glasses on and go, I can't find my glasses. Have you checked your face? This is the same thing with your signal. Your signal isn't lost, right? Most of what we've been taught tracks from the neck up. Thoughts, preferences, emotions, right? Signal lives deeper. Signal is the pulse you can't quite language. You can't quite put words to it. That first flicker before your mind tries to name it. That's your signal. It's right there. You have it. You don't have to go, what, do I have a signal? Oh, you got a signal, baby. You don't need to earn it or build it. Just listen. Think of it like tuning a radio beneath all of the static. There's always a steady tone. That tone is your signal. So, you know, when you're tuning the radio, if you've ever tuned a radio, if not, I would encourage you to, some of you aren't old enough to have to remember, if you ever traveled outside your preset conditions. How many of you, drop an R in the chat if you grew up with a radio that you had to push the buttons, whether it was digital and they moved along, or the old buttons on the thing and you pushed it and the thing would go zoop and it would push it and it goes zoop. This is where we're at. I want you to think of this as that particular kind of memory. And here's the visual I want you to translate that into. When you push those buttons, all of those buttons, 5 buttons, 6 buttons, if you are old enough, or shall I dare say mature enough, you'll remember there was another button where you went from AM to FM. So you had all these buttons programmed for your AM station, and you had all these buttons programmed for your FM station. What happened when you drove out of your normal operating zone? Very few, you got lucky if any of your preset stations worked in the new area. You realize you're currently running your preset stations from childhood. You're running your preset stations from a bad relationship. You're running your preset stations from a poverty mindset. And I hope you can hear this, not as the beatdown, as the, oh crap, that's why you are now 50 miles, 500 miles, 5,000 miles outside of your preset range, called your family, called your raising, called your childhood, called your adulthood, called your yesterday. You realize your preset stations for yesterday will never work today. Never work today. They can't work today. You're different. Everything's different. Your awareness is different. Your frequency is different. You know, it's not different. Your signal. Your signal doesn't age. Your signal doesn't get older. Your signal doesn't get tired. It's always there. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to build it. It's just about listening. So first, we need to clear what it's not. Signal is not your preferences. Preferences are shaped by the outside. Signal is not your emotions. Emotions are reactions. Let me say that again. Signal is not your preferences. Preferences are shaped by the outside. Signal is not your emotions. Emotions are your reactions to an awareness of something, internally or externally. Signal is what shows up first. Signal is not your thoughts. Thoughts lay over truth. Thoughts lay over truth. That's why you can think something and I think something and we think two different things. This is based upon our truth. Signal rises before your truths. I want you to pause right now, and I want you to feel what's under all of that. What's under all of that? The rhythm of your breath, the space between your heartbeats, the quiet under the story. This is where your signal lives. So just take a second, just breathe. What's underneath all of this? Just imagine you're inside your sanctuary, you're uncovering. Okay, you see this rock, this boulder called your thoughts, and you move it. And you see underneath that are emotions, and you remove that. Underneath all of this is your signal. Imagine going in there for just a second. Breathe it. Breathe it. Simply becoming aware. signal is what's underneath your secret sauce. Your secret sauce comes from your signal. And your secret sauce is what you do effortlessly without regard to emotions, feelings, or influences. It's truly the secret sauce. The secret sauce is your skills and ability to take your frequency, to take your signal and go show up in the world, absolutely using the 100% of possibilities available to you. That's why it's a secret sauce. It's yours, nobody else's. Your signal is yours, nobody else's. So understand what's underneath this. What's that signal? So before we listen more deeply, we need to name two things that block signal. Here's the two things that typically block your signal. Expectation overlay. Expectation. See, before we do most things, we have an experience or an expectation. Well, I don't know that that's going to work, or I'm probably going to get rejected, or I don't know why I do this. They're going to say no. That's expectation overlay. Now you can get all pumped up, psyched up, ready to go, ready to move on, ready to get started and say, I'm in this forever. Your subconscious is still there. Your signal is below your subconscious. That's how deep this is. If you're waiting to hear something wise or perfect, that's not signal. That's performance. If you're waiting to hear something wise or perfect, that is not signal. That is performance. So that is expectation overlay. Write that down. You're going to want to remember this. That's number one. Number two that we need to identify, we need to name, is called an echo loop. Repeating things you've heard from others. This isn't your voice. That's their signal, not yours. The echo loop. You're not good enough. You're not tall enough. You should be married. You should be single. You should be skinnier. You should be taller. You should be. Why aren't you? Let both of these drop. See if you can just set them aside. Take expectation overlay and physically, maybe with your hands, just take it and set it aside. Take it off of this path. Just set it aside. Take echo loop and put it someplace else. Let yourself not know what it should sound like. It's stepping into the unknown. The biggest challenge of people finding their signal is that they don't believe they have their signal. Is stepping into the unknown. We think we should already know our signal. I'm 60 years old. I should know where my signal is. I can promise you. 50, 60, 70-year-olds, 10-year-olds probably don't know their signal. You know who knows their signal? A 3-year-old that hasn't had life beat out of them. They want what they want, and they're annoying. They're annoying because they want what they want. That's signal. We may call it being bratty because we are not allowed to operate from that signal. They believe in abundance. We use things like, I'm not a money tree. That costs money. We start to teach them poverty. We never had much growing up. You probably had more than most people, but because the way you received it, you were told you never had much. What do you think that does to your signal? Oh, well, I can't ask for more. I can't show up as abundant. I can't show up as fully aware. So we're going to go into a little slides here in a little bit to give you a visual. So here's a memory primer. Most people have felt their signal before. They just didn't name it. You've known this. You've been working on this for a while. You probably have felt this. Think back. When was the last time you just knew what to do without thinking? Where everything lined up in your body without question. Think about that. You just knew what to do without thinking. Where everything lined up in your body. Your chakras were aligned. You didn't know your chakras were aligned. You had the thought and the law of attraction brought things to you going, man, this is working out. This is absolutely perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. That was your signal moment. Hold it. Think about it. That's where we're about to tune into again. What if life operated that way? It can. It is. It did. It does. That's the power of your signal. Can you remember that moment? Think of another moment where everything just happened. And here's the challenge. It might not have been yesterday. Could have been yesterday. I hope it was yesterday. Could have been the beginning of the month. Could have been 12 days ago. Could have been 12 months ago. For some people, it could be 12 years ago. And then life continued to happen. So let's scan for signal. Let's scan for your signal. We're going to go listen for it together. You ready? Sit quietly. What thoughts just popped into that brilliant brain of yours? I said we're going to go listen for your signal. What response was your body threatened with? What thought did your body threaten you with? I'm curious. Type it in the chat. What did you just hear? We're going to go listen for your signal. What did you just hear? What did you just feel? That's your body defending itself. Do you realize what the amygdala thinks? The amygdala feels the limbic system where there's no words. There's no words anywhere in your brain, by the way. The word house does not run through your brain. The vibration, the chemical signal of house runs through your brain to produce an emotion that produces a thought that makes you think of your house. How many of you, your house is dirty, you just got a little agitated about thinking about your house? How many of you, your house has a mortgage payment, you got a little agitated because your house had to think of a mortgage payment? How many things did you think of other than your house? That is the distraction away from your signal. So let's slow down. Wherever you are, get quiet. Just for a moment. Just roll your shoulders, kind of just close your eyes for a second, slow down all of the. Do you realize 2 million bits of information go in each eye? 2 million bits of information, 2 million bits of information per eye. Per eye. You take in about 20 million bits of information per second. You feel the chair, you feel the wind, you feel the breeze, you feel the air conditioning, you feel whatever it is, all of these things on your senses. You can tell whether the air is warmer up by your head or down by your feet. You can tell if the cat just came by or the dog just burped in the other room or farted, and you're like, wow, your body is constantly 20 million bits of data. Do you know how many you're aware of? 20 million bits of data. A lot of it is repetitive. And the brain's going, I'm aware of that. Yep. Everything's pretty much the same. We're aware of, consciously aware, science has told us we're aware of about 40 bits of information per second. 40 bits of out of 20 million bits of data. So it takes a little bit to get quiet. It takes a little bit for you to say, okay, I'm in a safe space. So I want you to, for the next minute, listen inward. I'm going to ask you some things, and I want you to just settle in. Take a big breath again. Hold it. Do a little box breath. Hold it for 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Slowly breathe it out for 4. 2, 1. Hold it. Let the exhale hold. And breathe back in. Just settle yourself. Here's the first question. What word, one word, arises first? No judgment, just asking. No editing. What's the one word that arises first? And you may or may not want to write it down. That's up to you. What color shows up first? No judgment. Just listen. First one's your best one. What color? Next question. What movement? Walking, running, sleeping. What movement? Reading, writing, eating. What movement? No judgment. Whatever surfaces. Now take a moment and write down those 3 things. Say it out loud. That's your signal. The ripple before the wave. That's your signal that's popping up. And your signal can adjust. That's what your signal is at right now. Your signal adjusts. It is what is running you to defend you, to offend you, to surprise you, to suppress you. That's where your signal's at right now. And then ask yourself, is this my signal that's going to get me where I need to go? Because this is the radio station you're currently tuned into. That's running underneath everything. And if it's not your signal, if you're like, wow, that's not what I really want, that's because you're running somebody else's signal. That's the signal that's showing up. It's not your signal. It's a signal that's showing up. It's the one you're using. If I got into a car and you happen to have, crazy as this might sound, you happen to have rap on, and some rap can be some really nasty language in rap, that would be the signal that would be driving my body. If you really don't like rap, could you imagine getting into somebody's car? Now, you may love rap. There's certain rap songs that are kind of cool, but there's a lot of them that are just degrading to me, ones I've heard, and just filthy, and they don't really sit well with me. Could you imagine if you got into a car and that was the music playing? You got in all excited, happy, joyful, and then you got into that car and they were playing the most outrageous music. That's the signal you're receiving. And because our signal is influenceable until it's not, my signal around that kind of rap music, I haven't worked hard enough to keep my signal pure. So it gets influenced. That makes sense? That's why when we go to events, our signal gets real excited because we're not running from our signal. We're allowing other people's signals, which we think is our, I'm setting my goal and I'm going big. I'm going to the top. I'm in. I'm all in. I can see it. I can do the work. I can see the effort. I know everything. I got everything. I'm in. I'm locked in. You can't stop me. I'm ready to go. And as soon as you get home, what happens to your signal? What happens the second you get on the plane? Your signal starts to change. I got to go home. I just got a text. They sent me a picture. The dog threw up in the middle of the kitchen room rug, or the kitchen room rug, the kitchen floor. And I got to clean that when I get it right. Something. And all of a sudden you go from to whoa. That's your signal being influenced. I'm asking you to find your signal. It takes some effort. So, ready to meet your signal? Ready to find your signal? This is your beginning, not through strategy, not through force, through remembering. And you know, before you think it, before you feel it, before you explain it, there is your signal. So, if you want to go deeper, we're going to go deeper here in just a moment. Any questions on that? I'm going to show you a little bit of a slideshow and walk you through just kind of understanding that your signal exists. Your signal exists. The challenge is that we think our signal is our signal, and it's really somebody else's signal we're incorporating. When people say, just give me the script, and it works for them, yet it doesn't work for you, that's because you're not using their signal. You can't use their signal. You're trying to adapt your signal to theirs, and it doesn't work that way. It's why scripts don't work. They get you started. I can come up with the world's greatest script, proven time and time and time again. And I go give it to somebody off the street who has no desire, who has no wants, who has no wishes. And I say, I can show you how to become a millionaire, because the script has produced millionaires. And hand them the script, and they read it, and they get zero results. So does the script not work? Doesn't work for them. So do we throw the script out? It's got evidence. It's got proof. The challenge is that we're not operating from our signal. I teach him his signal or her signal. I show them how to find their signal, and then they use the script from their signal. It'll perform, because signal is authenticity. And if you are running around saying, well, I don't like that, and I don't do that, and I don't do this, and I don't do that, that's your signal, is you don't. But I don't like that. That's your signal. I don't like that. You don't have to dislike something to not use it. I think that's a fabulous way. I just choose other ways that are more fabulous for me. But if you're doing the I don't and I don't and I can't and I won't, that is your signal. And that comes across every time you talk to anybody that you want to do something. They wonder, oh, there's just something, I don't know, there's something off. They politely bow out. I don't know. They can't explain it. I don't know how to explain it. There's just something I don't feel this would be a good fit. It's your signal. And then we keep working harder and stronger and pushing harder. Well, I got to get better at this. I got to do more. It's about doing less so you can have more. All right, let me share something with you here real quick. And let me see if you can see this. Let me share. Hang on just a second. Share screen. Okay, there's the share button. I'll find this. Screens. There. You should now see, what is your signal? Your core energetic frequency. Let me turn off the transcript. Okay, so that's over here. Hold on just a second. Where's closed captioning? Okay. We'll just leave that there. So beneath thought, beneath emotion, beneath performance. All right, let's close that. So now the question becomes, what signal is not? Signal is not thought. Signal is temporary feel. It's not temporary feelings. I'm gonna move all these things out of the way. And it's not preferences. All right. It's not your likes or dislikes based upon past experiences. Signal lives beneath all three of these. So take for just a second. SpaceX. So I just said SpaceX. You may or may not know what that is. Maybe you know what that is. SpaceX, right? So did Aline did what's his name? Musk. Elon Musk, did his name pop up? When I said SpaceX, did Tesla pop up? When I said SpaceX, did reusable rockets pop up? Mission to Mars pop up? See, that's your signal around SpaceX. Network marketing. There's a signal around that. Your spouse. There's a signal around that. And the exhausting part is that if you have signals for each one of these, that's not run by an over or an under-reaching, deep down philosophy of fascination, love, joy, happiness. Signal changing is kind of like changing the radio. And here's what happens. Have you ever wanted to watch two shows at the same time and you didn't have picture in picture or two TVs or your phone and a computer and the TV screen? What did you do? You went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then TiVo came out and you could pause one, you could record one and watch it again. The challenge is that when you switch signals, there's always the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Well, what happened with that old one? And this is what we literally call multitasking. Multitasking is you wanting to stay in a signal of productivity, of creativity, of production. And what happens when you're multitasking? You never really get anything done. Not to the level you want, not to the level you desire. And science has said that whenever we multitask, whenever we switch from one topic to another, it takes about 23 minutes to overcome the residual momentum of the previous thought. So if you're working hard on something and you're dove in and you're really focused and tuned in and fired up and you are just absolutely crushing it, moving through it and getting done and seeing things becoming obvious to you that you never see, and a little thing pops up on the screen, says you've got mail. You don't go check your mail. You just see it and you go, okay, I wonder what that is. That residual of I wonder takes you out of your focus. It's going to take you about 23 minutes to get back to that level again, to get back to the deep work. That's how flexible, that's how vulnerable our signal has been taught to become. Kind of crazy, isn't it? Signal differentiation, not signal. Fleeting thoughts, not signal. Reactive emotions, not signal. Conditioned preferences, not signal. External validation, not signal. Mental chatter. So not signal, fleeting thoughts. Signal, persistent knowing. How many times have you heard somebody you're talking to say, I don't know? They are not in their signal. I offer people a solution to say, I'm curious to find the solution. That gives you a chance for signal. Does that make sense? So, reactive emotions. Oh, that gets me upset, or that gets me, or I'm excited about that. Ooh, that doesn't, I don't like that. Oh, I'm excited about that. Oh, that really excites me. Oh, that really depresses me. That's not signal. Steady preference. Isn't that fascinating? How easily are your emotions controlled by your environment? That's not signal. That's strategy. Reactive emotions, doing 3 or 4 things at a time, 5 or 6 things at a time. You can't. You can only do one thing at a time. How do I know this? I want you to get on a phone call, and I want you to be listening to something that's very important. How many of you have ever turned down the radio because it was raining real bad? Turn that radio down. The simple act of sound was drawing your attention away from driving in where you needed to place your focus. Let me ask you this. How important is your focus on your success? How important is your focus for success? Scale of 1 to 100. If you really wanted to achieve your goals, how important do you think focus is? Then multitasking should go right out the window. Do it to completion. The other thing is that yesterday, when I ended my morning call, I forgot to do a ritual that I normally do. And I hit end and I went, oh, because that's the call I do this ritual on. There's other calls that I do that I don't do that ritual. That's not part of that particular call. I'll say, I'll see you where? At the next event. And the call ends. On my morning calls, I have a ritual. And I didn't finish, I didn't do it. And there was this space of emptiness, this space of non-completed. So much so that I had to go into a private chat with these folks and do it so I could actually hear them say it. Now, again, it was me putting a video in there, but I could hear them say it. And something happened. The signal for me, it was pretty selfish of me to go do that. I think it served them well, but it was selfish of me because there was just this free falling off a cliff. My signal didn't get tuned properly. And that's the start of my day. I wasn't going to let that happen. So anyways, I say that to say we have to understand these reactive emotions that you're dealing with. It's because you don't have your signal in place, your DMP in place, your definite major purpose, your DMS, your definite major signal in place. Conditioned preferences instead of authentic resonance. Can you resonate authentically when you have options? You go to Starbucks. I'll go and I'll try something new. I'll go to a restaurant and try something new. My bride, same thing. I can tell you, you name the restaurant, I can tell you what she orders. And it would be rare that she would ever switch that. Because she doesn't want to have a bad experience. She knows, I like that. That's my favorite. I'm getting that. Well, why don't you try this? I like this. I know what it tastes like. It's predictable, and I want that. That's her signal. So do you have conditioned preferences? Well, if we're going to do that, I'd like to do this. Where's your expansion of possibility? That's your signal. Pay attention to your signal. External validation versus internal alignment, right? We always hear all the time in particular professions, especially side gig professions, don't pay any attention to the naysayers. Maslow, psychologist and human potentialist, would say, be independent of the good opinion of other people. I first heard that by Wayne Dyer. Maslow said to him, he says, we were talking, be independent of the good opinion of other people. And Dyer said that kind of blew his mind. He said, here I am, I'm always looking for recognition. I put my face all over my books and all of this, and I also said, that's okay. What happens if you become independent of the good opinion of other people? And then signal difference, mental chatter versus energetic clarity, right? Understanding the difference between signal and noise is the first step. So, interference check. Expectation overlay, we just talked about that, equals noise. When we project what we think should happen, we create static that drowns out our true signal. And the echo loop is false pattern. Repeating thoughts that create the illusions of signal through familiarity rather than truth. Why does that happen? Why does an echo loop happen? Just think about how your brain works. What does your brain do? It does two things. Will this kill me? Expectation. And if it's not going to kill me, how fast could I recognize the pattern? The echo loop. We're already wired for this. What expectations are you currently overlaying onto your experience? When you go to do your cold calling, your reach out methods, they're not going to like it. Well, they should like it. It's about this. Well, I've talked to 6 people and they don't like it. 6 more people probably not going to like it. Doesn't that get put in there? Doesn't that show up? Isn't that what causes you to have resistance? Is your fear that they're going to say no? And I'll be damned if when you go do the thing, what do they say? No. Do you think that's your signal sending out no? Just say no to me because that's what I think you're going to say. See, I told you they weren't going to do it. I told you I couldn't do it. That's your signal. That's your vibration. That's your law of attraction. Your law of attraction is your signal. That's your expectation signal. Your core signal is abundance. We keep trying to tune our signal in to chip away what's somebody else's signal and say, oh, I like that signal. I like what they got, and I'm going to use that. That's not your signal, baby. It's not your signal. Your signal happens before you ever think about trying to adapt to somebody's signal. Signal memory primer. When was the last time you just knew? Again, we just did this briefly. Think back to a moment when you had absolute clarity without needing to think it through. That feeling of certainty that bypassed your rational mind. You just knew that you knew that you knew that you knew. This is your signal in its purest form. A knowing that requires no explanation and requires no justification. You know what happens? You know when we get to that knowing, you know when we get to our signal? We get to our signal when we have no other options. When we get down and dirty and we have to do this and we got to get clear and we're like, it becomes all consuming. You stop thinking about the fire that you're in, the hole that you're in, the crap that you're in. You're like, I got to get out of here. I've been comfortable with it. I've been frustrated with it. I've been agitated with it. I've been dealing with it, right? I've been dealing with it. And that when you stop dealing with it is when you get to your signal. Now, we got to get pushed pretty hard to get there. The challenge is once we get to our signal and we start to drive and we start to push and we start to receive and we start to achieve and we get out and we become the hero of our own story, we stop. Because we shouldn't have this signal all the time, should we? How many of you have ever gotten out of a place, out of a situation, out of a moment where you thought, man, I don't know if I can get out of here? And you got out. It's because you tuned into your signal. And you did the impossible. You've done the impossible for so long, you're now possible. Yet when we get out of that, confined where I have to do this, and we wind up with choices again. Well, I want to fit in. I want to be comfortable. I want to do what everybody else is doing. If I don't complain about your shortcomings, don't you complain to me about my shortcomings. And we have this agreement that it's okay for you to suck as long as you don't point out my suckiness. But you'll do it privately, won't you? Oh my God, this would be so good for them. I don't know why they're so lazy. How many of you have said this? Listen, oh my God, why are they going out with them? This is just like Tommy. It's like Timmy. It's like the 3 other people that she's dated or the 4 other girls that he's dated. He keeps picking the same one, but you won't tell him to your face. Oh, I want you to meet Samantha. Oh, she's lovely. My God, she's like the last one. She's a mirror image of the last one. This one's blonde. The last one was brunette, but the same thing. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Drop a 1 in the chat. So we need to go back to that moment. We need to go back to that moment when you knew that you knew that you knew that you knew. And that's your signal. Now go deeper, going, what was my signal? What was the vibration that was coming through? Oh, wrong way. Here we go. Live signal scan, 5 minutes of silence. Quiet space, free from all distractions. You've got a timer on your phone. Do it. What I would offer you is to do it quietly. To do it quietly, set your timer, but also turn on your voice recorder. And as you sit quietly, speak it out loud, record it. Now, is it hard to do this? Absolutely not. Start a timer, turn on the recorder. Easy, easy peasy to do. Will you do it? Probably not. Why? Because your signal won't let you. The signal you're currently running won't let you. I don't need to do that. I'll just sit quietly, and you won't sit quietly. 5 minutes, you could start to uncover your true signal. You can start to do some what's called self-introspection. You can start to do some deep work. Oh, yet you won't do it. Why won't you do it? Why won't you do this? This is so key, so fundamental, so simple. Why won't you do it? Because the signal you're currently running doesn't do this stuff. Actually, your signal might be playing, well, this is bullshit. I won't do it. I can't do this. I don't have 5 minutes. Are you kidding me? Have a heart attack. Let me see if you'll, how many of you would like to spend 5 minutes riding in an ambulance? No, that'd be stupid. You just had a massive heart attack and they're going to load you up. 5 minutes in the ambulance? Whatever it takes. Get me to the hospital. See how fast we can change our desires? See how fast we can really want to do something? We would say, I would never ride in an ambulance. That's how fast our signal can change. Now, if your core is to live your life to the maximum, that would never be a problem. Somebody says, you want to ride 5 minutes in the ambulance? Absolutely. If the moment needs that, I'm all in on ambulance rides, baby. Yet if you said, I would never ride an ambulance, why would I want to ride in an ambulance? That's the scariest thing. It's loud, it's noisy. I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, you would. Yes, you would. So 5 minutes of silence, set your timer. 5 minutes, set your timer and turn on your voice recorder. Right? Every phone has it, unless you guys still got a flip phone. But I promise you, you got an Android, you got an iPhone. I don't care what number it is. It's got a voice recorder. Turn it on and listen for 5 minutes. Listen to what you say in the next 5 minutes. Wait for the word, wait for the color, wait for the movement. What's the word, the first word that pops up? Aggravation, frustration, scared, joyful, peaceful, romantic, orgasmic. I don't know. What's the word that pops up? Allow the impressions to arise naturally without forcing them. No editing except whatever comes, without judgment or analysis. And then pay attention. That's your signal that's coming through right now. You've already met your signal. Now meet it on purpose. You've already met your signal. Now meet it on purpose. So Recognize, learn to distinguish your authentic signal from mental noise and emotional reactions. What happens if you stop multitasking right now? If I told you you can no longer multitask, you will start one thing and go till you finish. Some of your bodies are just starting to go cramp up. Your energy is starting to go, oh, what? You mean I can't do 5 things? Why do you want to do 5 things? It's ridiculous. You never get them done. You never get them done to the level of capability and capacity that they deserve. Everything you're turning out is half-ass. And if you're arguing that, that's your signal. I can promise you that's your signal. And what you really find out, here's the thing that you'll really find out, people who are massive multitaskers, when they stop multitasking, like, I got more free time than I ever thought possible. Why? Because they get the stuff done. They get the stuff done, and they're not doing 7 things for 7 hours. They're doing one thing at a time, and they get it all done in an hour. And they got like, I don't know what to do with all my free time. It's literally, that's the story. So recognize between signal and mental noise. Practice regularly, create space. I do the 5-minute thing in the morning. Do the 5-minute thing in the evening. See if the signal's the same. You'll see how much your day got influenced. Your signal got influenced by your day. Trust, build confidence in your signal. You know, one of the things that we talk about, we call it intuition. You ever sit behind a car and say they're going to turn left, and their left turn signal goes on? You go, yeah, baby. That's tuning into your signal. That's tuning into the environment to become fully fully meshed and indexed into the universe. You can practice that. You can build that muscle of intuition because it's all there. We've proven it. Meth Lab has proven it. That your heart knows what's about to happen. Now, don't ask me the science behind how it knows. They just have proven scientifically that more than 50% of the time, close to 70% of the time, when they did testing, they took a computer screen, the Heart Meth Lab in California, and they took a computer screen and it was blank for 5 seconds, 15 seconds, blank for 15 seconds. And they asked the participant to click a button, positive or negative, joyful or scary. They were going to pop one of 2 images, random, by a random computer, popped up the images randomly. So they weren't programmed and nobody knew the test and nobody knew, even the programmers didn't know what was going to pop up. But they hooked them up with all of these EEGs, EKGs, all of this stuff to read the brain scan stuff and the heart monitor. And up to 5 seconds before the image showed up, 5 seconds, 10 seconds had gone on the blank, still 5 more seconds. They picked the image. They got to pick it 5 seconds before it switches. And over 70% of the time they pick correctly. That's not just random. There's some kind of execution of energetic skills and connections to the universe, frequency, signal, you name it. 70% of the time they pick the right image. They pick the right emotion, scary or happy. Sometimes it was a lion or eating something or little puppies, right? So begin to learn how to trust your signal and then integrate your signal into form to inform your decisions, to inform you about relationships. You know your signal when you're like, something crazy about it. I don't really, I don't know. They just make my skin crawl. Or, man, I love being around them. That's understanding your signal. Your signal, if they make your skin crawl, that's your signal going. And then how many times have we said, man, I don't think I should do this deal, but we do it anyways. It's where Jim Rohn came up with this phrase, never do a good deal with a bad guy. Never do a good deal with a bad person. No, I knew it. I knew they were a crook. Right? Good deal. Could have made a lot of money. Could have made this. Could have expanded that. Blah, 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 blah. But turned out not so good. The journey to finding your signal is ongoing. Each moment of connection strengthens your ability to hear it clearly. And each moment of disconnection strengthens that or expands that space of you're not ready. So That's finding your signal. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, take with yous. This is up on YouTube, so you're more than welcome to watch it again. I would absolutely encourage you to do the 5 minutes and listen to what feeling, what word, and what movement. What emotion, what word, what feeling, and what movement. Where's your body at? That's your signal.
Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Selka.
You said the signal never changes. Did I hear you? Did I hear you correctly on that?
Yes, your core signal never changes. When we're operating with all these different signals, if somebody says something to you and you respond, that's because you're operating from a signal that's influenced by them. Joe Dispenza said it the best. Your personality determines your personal reality. That's you operating from signal. Where most people operate is their personal reality determines their personality.
Okay, repeat that again. Your personality determines your...
So your personality, meaning what comes inside, determines your personal reality. Oh. How you see the world.
Well, I changed it so from
hang on. Let me finish it. Let me say the second part. Now, there's people who allow their personal reality to make up their personality. So if you have a,
that's me, maybe.
Yeah. If you have a friend and your friend tells you you're a witch on a broomstick, congratulations on your pilot classes, and they send you a witch on a broom and saying pilot 101, it's like, well, wait, what? And you can take it as laughter, as them being funny, or if you get mad, that's because they changed your signal. 98% of the population allow the outside world to determine how they feel, to determine how they think. Politics, are you Republican or Democrat? I'm not asking you, I'm just saying, well, politics, you talk.
Well, I'm neither, so you can
ask. My point is that when you ask people like that, some people, that's the only thing they get to have a fight about, is they want to, right? We always say, don't talk about from the stage, politics and religion. Why? Because that really affects people's signals. Now, if you want to draw some energy, or if you want to get people riled up, you talk about religion and politics.
Oh, I see that on my Facebook. Yeah. Yes, you are very right about that. But it is funny. With politics, it is really specific to US, because in Germany you can, and people don't get angry like that. So maybe it has something to do with, I don't know.
Well, it's the media. So the media,
well, not the media even.
No. What I'm saying is the media programs us here.
Well, I don't watch the media, but yes, you're right.
I'm just saying that's why they call it TV programming. They don't call it TV scheduling. They call it TV programming. And if you look at some of these clips where every TV station is saying the same thing, because it's driven by somebody who's got a lot of money to say, here's what you're going to say, and they own all the media outlets to say, here's what I want put out into the world, yeah, you're going to get programmed. Well, but they said it on Channel 5 News. Really? What made them the authority?
Well, usually the media, and yes, you are right. In US, that is very true. And so that's why I consume the German media, because it's usually just facts. Here, we like the drama. People love the drama. I don't know why. But would that affect their signal?
Oh gosh, yes. It does. Their core signal is still their core signal. What happens is they find out that they say, oh my gosh, if I'm this signal, I can have more friends. I can be part of a community. We're creatures of community. We want to be a part of something. And what happens is a lot of times we get programmed by our parents. Most people are as rich as their parents were. With the cost adjusted for cost of inflation, most people are as rich as their parents. They won't ever out earn their parents. Why?
how did
Because,
their parents get rich then? Does that mean their grandparents were just as rich? Or
well, it means
when does the cycle break?
when you break it. And then what happens is, well, if I'm going to break the cycle, I'm going to disappoint my parents. This is all happening subconsciously. Your signal of every parent wants, most parents, I'm going to go on the ledge, out on a ledge and say 99% of parents want their kids to do better than they have. They want that. Soon as that kid shows up, it's like, I'm going to give them the world. I want to make my little daughter proud. I want to make my little son handsome and joyful and everything else. And then what happens is their programming runs downhill. We don't have money for that. Stop asking for that. Shut up and don't talk unless you're talked to, and stay in the corner and don't embarrass me. And you hear all of these things. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, if I do better than them, I'm going to get in trouble at a subconscious level. And you're a grown ass adult and you're still worried about what your parents say.
That is very strange, and that's kind of weird for me to understand. But yes, certainly anybody that has children wants their children to do well.
Yep.
And better. I know exactly. I have 3 children, and I swore that I'm going to make sure, because I'm a very bad swimmer, and I hate that because my parents didn't teach me how to swim. So I learned later on, and I'm petrified, literally, to jump in the ocean. The swimming pool is fine. So I made it a point when my children were very young, less than 2 years old, they started taking swim lessons, because I did not want them to end up like me ever. And yes, they swim amazing. They go in the ocean, they surf, they love the water, they play in the water. So I'm very proud of myself that I was able to get them to fearlessly be able to enjoy all water activities. But yes,
so you broke the cycle. So when you asked earlier, how do you break the cycle? You broke it. You had to deal with all of the anxiety and all of this and all of the, I'm not qualified and I can't do that. So I'm not going to, I can't teach you how to swim. I will have to have somebody else teach you that. But I know this is important enough. So when it was important enough, you made a decision. You didn't know what, you didn't know when, you didn't know how, but they were 2 years old. And at 2 years old, you made a decision that you are going to go learn this. And I'm going to force you to make sure you learn this because I think it's valuable to you, because I didn't have it.
Yeah, and I still struggle with the water. I still do to this day, and I hate it. Yes.
So the point is now, can you have somebody train you and teach you?
I never found anybody to. I mean, I took lessons when I was a bit older.
Right.
But I mean.
So listen carefully. So
yeah,
listen,
I mean,
make yourself as I need you as the German reporter now, just the facts, right? Here's just the facts. You took lessons on, did they know how to swim, the person that taught you?
Yes, of course. They were.
Did they know how to, have they taught teaching? Were you their first customer, or did they already have teaching clients before?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I don't think I was their first customer.
Okay, so here, pay attention. This is what's called a nocebo. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to teach what they were doing. And you struggled with learning how to adopt that because your ownership of I can't swim was more powerful than their teaching saying you could learn how to swim.
Well, they taught me.
Hang on, listen, listen. Hang on, listen to the story for a second before you respond. Here's the facts, ma'am. How do you say facts in German?
Faktoren.
Faktoren, right? So Faktoren. That word. So here's the fact. They could teach, they knew how to teach, and they could teach you. They had all of the skills, all of the talents, all of the necessity. Your ability to own your story was more powerful than their teaching. Because that was a while ago when you went for the training, right?
A long time ago.
Okay. So between then and now, could you have gone for more training if you really wanted to be able to be comfortable in the ocean? Could you have? I'm not saying whether you did.
I could have, but I think what it is the fear.
Right. But so your fear, your desire to own that fear is more than your desire to give up.
I'm not desiring to own it, but I guess I haven't been able to get rid of it.
Well, because if you get rid of it, what's the new story?
That I no longer fear it, but that would be fine with me.
Well, soon as that feeling of being able to go to the ocean and walk in without a story is to not, when not having a story about the ocean water is bigger than the story you like to have about the ocean, because you're a smart woman. Anybody, listen, you're a smart, intelligent, logical woman who can say, okay, this doesn't really make sense. Right? So imagine if I said, we have a pond out here. I love the lake, the big lake, but I won't go into my pond. You'd be like, well, that's crazy. Why is that stupid? It's the same water. Yeah, but I don't know. The pond, once I was in Florida and I was swimming and there was an alligator. Well, are there alligators in this? No, but I think that there's alligator. There's no alligators in there. What, are you stupid? You'd literally be going, you don't make any sense at all. You crazy American. Get in the pond. Yeah, but I don't know, this fear of an alligator. There's no alligators, right? No. So you would be sitting there going, that doesn't make any sense. But my desire to own a story about being chased by an alligator in the water is more important to me than being able to swim in my own pond. Now, that's not true, but I'm just saying that's how much we own these stories. We've told them so much they become part of the building blocks of who we are. I can promise you, if somebody says they're going to the beach and they're going to the ocean and they go, would you like to come? You'd be like, yes, but your story's going to come up of, I can't swim in the water. I'm definitely afraid I'll go to the beach with you. I'll stick my feet and my toes in the sand, but I'm not going to, right? That's going to be a part of your story because that's what you've had. The question then becomes, and this is for anything, people who struggle in their business, people who struggle in their relationships, is you have a story that is more valuable to your current signal than the signal of freedom, than the signal of possibility, than the signal of joy. And the part that gets frustrating is when you're like, so it's kind of my own fault? Yeah, congratulations. What you think about and think about, you bring about. It's your thoughts. But I don't know how to change that. I know you don't. No one does how to change it by themselves. It's why we need counseling. It's why we need somebody to join us, to walk us through that path. And then the question is the person that we hire to walk us through that path, are they going to confront us about this identity, or are they going to offer us a chance to step into a new identity? And that's where we struggle with telling people, you've gone round the bend. You've absolutely gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And unless you decide to shift this, there's nothing I can do for you. But there's people who go to counseling for 13, 14, 15 years.
Well, I think sometimes the counselor wants them to keep coming because it's
absolutely.
And so they're not doing anything to destroy that. I mean, they keep talking to them. Yes, because I've taught psychologists, psychiatrists, and they're the craziest people, especially psychiatrists.
Well, if you hang around enough people, right? Who do they hang around? They hang around crazy people.
Oh, yes, I was blown away, the stories they told me, but yeah. So, yes, wow, very insightful. Yes, I've been living with this all these years.
So now just start, listen, here's what's going to happen. If you just started to say, you know what, I love going into the ocean. I can walk up to my waist and the waves can come and I get knocked a little bit, but I just love, you just start saying that. And you're going to break out in a sweat because your body, this is all stored in your body. Do you realize, listen carefully, that every cell in your body, and you have 30 trillion of these things running around, 30, 40 trillion, depending upon how big your body is. You've got these cells in your body. One cell is the equivalent, listen carefully, of the activity and actions. It does the same amount of processing as a naval aircraft carrier with about 5,000 naval personnel on that ship.
Are you kidding me?
No, one cell in your body could store 6,000 Wall Street Journals.
How?
One cell. It's the capacity. It's all of the the nucleotides and everything that's going on inside of a cell. That's how much activity is happening inside of one cell in your body. So when we say, I gotta change my thoughts. Yeah, but you gotta change your body. It's why it takes 18 months for us to rewire our body. It doesn't take 21 days. That's BS. 21 days, nothing happens. Your signal, if it's strong enough, emotional enough, you can change it in a moment. If you've ever had a life-threatening or a life tragedy that's a near-death experience, that happened in an instant. You'll never forget it. If there's enough emotion wired into the frequency of the activity, it can stay forever or it can be fleeting as a second. So when we talk about desire, when we talk about signal, when we talk about your white hot burning desire that Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, when Wallace D. Waddell says it's not about doing certain things, it's about doing them in a certain way. This is about your frequency. This is about the volume and the energy and the excitement and the emotion you put behind it. This is why when people visualize their dream boards, they go, oh, there's my dream house on the ocean. I don't know if I'll ever get that. What do you think the universe goes? Hey, we got an order for a dream. Oh, they really don't want it. Okay. All right. Well, wait till they tell us what they really, really, really want. And so what the universe says is, well, they don't really want it. So let's give them all of the crap they don't want because they asked for what they don't want. Why would we ever do that? Because we do it every day with every breath. Let's give them the capacity to never finish a task. Well, how do we do that? We give them multitasking. We send out trainings into the universe around them that say, how do you best multitask? How do you time management? You can't manage time. I cannot make one more second in a day, neither can you. And you can't take 1 second out, and neither can I. So why don't we just throw this whole time management crap out the window? The only thing we can do is manage our energy in time. But see, nobody wants to teach that because that would require you to focus on you. Okay, I'm going to go from 9 a.m. to 8 a.m. and I'm going to from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Let's go the right way in the time. I'm going to go from 8 to 9. And in that time, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Okay, how's that going to make you feel? Well, I need to get it done because if I don't get it, how's it going to make you feel? Well, I would feel good. Great. So how would you feel if you didn't do it? I wouldn't feel good. So which do you want to focus on? I want to feel good. So I'd start right now feeling good. It's already done. It doesn't make sense. You're right, because you're operating from a new signal. You're operating from your core signal of it's time for you to feel good. If you're stressed, stress shows up.
No, yeah. I seem to be living in stress.
Right.
I need
so
to get rid of it.
Well, the way you get rid of it is you think about the most wonderful moments of your life.
Before it kills me.
Yes.
You know, I went to the oral surgeon the other day and they took my blood pressure.
And it was sky high.
Yes, it was 220. They about had a heart attack themselves. They said, is your blood pressure always that high? I said, oh, no, I don't know. It shouldn't be. But, but that shows me that I'm internalizing the stress and I can feel it. I mean, I can feel it every second of the day.
So this is where if you were talking to Heather, first thing she would say to you as a practitioner for 30 plus years in helping people control their bodies and get wellness back, first thing she'd tell you is to start breathing.
Yeah.
To be consciously aware of breathing and do box breathing. And the reason box breathing, 4 seconds in or 6 seconds in, start with 4 seconds in, hold it for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, hold it, is because your body knows your parasympathetic nervous system, right? The rest and digest. Your parasympathetic nervous system understands that if you can breathe, you're in a safe space. You can literally change your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. You can get them into alignment simply through breathing. Now, well, I'm too busy to breathe. Okay.
No,
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying other people, right? Guys specifically. Breathing, that meditation crap. I can promise you, everybody who is wildly successful spends 2 hours a day in meditation. Most people who hear that go, I could never do that. I'll have to get rich to do that. I can promise you they were doing it before they got rich. It's the reason they are rich is because they were doing that. They allowed their signal to come through. So what I would offer you, what's that?
Do you do it?
Oh gosh, yes. I spend about 3 hours a day in meditation.
Oh, that's why you're so rich.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm, rich is the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want. I can do most of those, but where I get my meditation is the sheep, is the babies.
Ah, yes, I can.
Right? I mean, think about that. When I sit down, and I'll sit down far enough away from them that they've got to make the decision to come to me, and I can tell you what signal I'm in. I can tell you what signal I'm in based upon who shows up. If they all don't show up, if they all don't realize, they leave their moms and they come over to sit with me. Yesterday, Anura sat down between my legs. I got to tell you, that turns my signal on like fire. And then Teddy laid down right next to me, and Axel's headbutting me in the back, nudging me in the back, giving me a nice back massage, by the way.
Oh,
And so I didn't tell him he was doing that because he'd be like, well, I don't want to make you feel good. I thought I was hurting you, right? Playing around. My point is that if they lay down with me, my signal is good. If they don't, I go to work on my signal. And eventually one of them will come over and lay down.
because they can feel your signal.
Exactly. And so that's my real world litmus test is I have other alien species, right? They're not human. They're an alien species. I have them can I tune into a signal that's strong enough that they can feel comfortable, safe, and protected? Because that's my goal, is to leave a legacy, 600 generations, so people can feel comfortable, protected, and in control of their own future. So that's a great, it's an unfair, but it's fair for me, but it's an unfair way that I have an advantage over most people. Now you have with Lola Poo, I know.
I was just going to say that it was in my head when you just said that your next sentence was going to be you telling me about Lola Poo.
Yeah. And she knows when you're stressed, and she'll come up and lick you or do whatever she does when you're stressed. And when you're happy, she just falls asleep in your lap.
But it's funny. Usually she doesn't. But last night when I got home from my dinner, and she just kept wanting to be petted, my daughter said, well, what's the matter? She usually doesn't want that much love from you. So I don't know, maybe my signal was different because she just wanted to keep being petted.
Well, she knows she can take it away from you, meaning take away your stress. And she knew yesterday you were wildly stressed, and this was a time for you to just relax, chill out.
I wasn't stressed when I came back from dinner.
I know, but there was still residual. And they want to take away. That's what dogs understand. There's a frequency and an energy that they know that's deeper than anything else. There's people who can smile and be nice, but the dogs here, our dogs will go, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, if you ever come on this property when we're not here, they will eat you. I don't care how nice you are and how many biscuits you have. You're an asshole. They are telling me.
Dogs can feel that. Dogs can feel that. It's animals as a whole, I think, are much more intuitive than people are, because they're not being put down for their feelings. They just have the feelings. I think it has a lot to do with that. I think with the environment and how we brought up. I think a lot of people just don't even like to share their feelings because it makes them vulnerable, and also, they think maybe they shouldn't have certain feelings.
And Brené Brown says it best. And when people understand this, now some people use it as a gimmick. What Brené Brown says is your vulnerability gives us strength. The challenge is when anybody speaks from their vulnerability signal, they feel like they're weak. Well, you are weak in that moment. You're vulnerable. The challenge is can you give it with the intent of it being a helpful story for others? Let me tell you a moment when my life went to hell in a handbasket. And that's when it gives other people strength, because people say, oh my God, you're more like me than you're not. That's why when I do things, I'll kind of screw some things up from on stage or mess some things up or come up with my buttons misaligned. And people go, hey, listen, your shirt's buttoned wrong. I want them to be able to say, okay, he's more like me than he is this world-class professional speaker, trainer, stood on stage in 30 countries and helped generate $2 billion in sales in the network marketing industry. That makes me untouchable. That makes me non-relatable. Now I can still have all of that, and still show up as the farm boy from Ohio who barely made it through high school. Oh my God, if he could do it, I could do it. Excellent. Now my mission, now they can hear my story.
But I think to some people that would be unrelatable as well.
They're not my tribe.
Yeah, but when you speak, you're speaking to everybody that's sitting there, whether they you want people to be able to relate to you on some level, no?
Right. And so there's certain things that, and that's why there's a variety of ways to connect to people, to connect to the 4 different signals that are primary signals, so that there's elegance. When I speak, they don't hear ums and ahs and pauses and confusion. They hear clarity. So I speak to the signal of people who are the go-getters. I talk about influence and income and success. Yeah, but you showed up with your collar tucked in like this. Yeah, I can still show up like that. And somebody goes, oh, the carers, the people who want to take care of me, if they happen to be sitting in the front audience, will go, oh, can I fix your collar? Well, sure you can. I couldn't see it. I didn't have a mirror in the back. Right? So if it's, how do I allow the people who can't hear the message to still participate because they can be part of the message? And that's when you understand the 4 signals, the 4 discs, the 4 personalities, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So
like the colors, the different colors.
Yep, absolutely. And all of those relate back to a signal. That's the 4 primary signals. Dr. Amen talks about the 4 primary brains, and then takes all of those and combines them. And so there's 16 brain styles.
16?
Yeah. Well, there's the 4 primary, and then there's each one of the 4 that could be the primary. So you could have the disc DISC. So those are the 4. But what if your I is the primary and then the other ones? What if your C is the primary and then the other ones? What if your S is the primary and then the other ones? So that's how you wind up with 16 kinds of personalities. But that's going into a deeper depth of understanding human nature.
So when you first meet someone and you having all this training,
yep.
How long does it take you to figure out or to realize what kind of
in the first 5 seconds?
And how do you do that?
Well, it's you're looking at a variety of things. What's their body posture? When they show up to introduce themselves, how do they do it? Do they do it by their name? Do they look away? Which way are their eyes going? There's 101 decisions you make about somebody. You even make these 101 decisions in the first 5 seconds. We all do. It's how we protect ourselves. It's how we get this feeling about somebody. That's why we don't remember their name, because that's a fact when we've been focused on the feeling. Man, they said their name twice and I still don't remember it. Because in the first 5 seconds, when does somebody say their name? In the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I make it a point to not say my name in the first 5 seconds.
I like to have a name tag.
Right. Well, if they have a name tag, but we still don't remember that, because in the first 5 seconds, we're still going through all of this stuff.
Because if I see it written, then I can remember it. But yes, that's always so annoying when you can't remember their name.
Right. So imagine if we had, so here's what I teach people to say. This is how you can present a signal of absolutely calmness, because they can't remember. If you don't have name tags, they can't remember your name either.
Well, but they have a good excuse to several times ask. Now, what was your name again? Because, I've never heard this name. And sometimes they even go as far as asking me how to spell it.
Right.
And I will always tell them I'm German and this is a Scandinavian name and the alphabet is different. So therefore, you would pronounce the E, it's in German an A. So that's why it's Silke and not silky, and it's not silk by all means, because then they want to touch me and say, oh, is your skin so silky? Yes, I have gotten all kinds of strange things. So yes. So they have an excuse for that. But if you're telling me you Bob or Joe, I mean.
So that's an advantage, which sometimes you think is not an advantage. My name, Sean, is a tremendous advantage. Because I'll say, listen, most people will say Scene, but one of the things I'll teach people is I'll say, hey, listen, I heard your name and I really wish I could have remembered it. I was too focused on your energy and how amazing you are energetically that I couldn't hear the name. Could you please tell me your name again?
Oh, that's a good one. You make them feel good.
Because they won't remember your name. So then what I'll say is, I'll say, hey, listen, in case you forgot mine, it's Sean. And they'll say, no, I remembered it. And they absolutely forgot it. But I will make them feel comfortable that I take them out of the uncomfortable. Oh, shit. What's his name again? Oh, my God. Hey, listen, I know you said your name. You probably said it twice. I was so focused on your energy and how amazing you showed up in this space right now that I can't remember your name. So could you please tell me your name again? Oh, no problem. It's Connie. Connie and I'm Sean again. I just thank you for being here. And so now what happens is they leave with novelty, going, oh my God, he just made me feel so comfortable asking my name again because I had forgotten his. I didn't want to tell him I forgot his, right? That's the story they're telling everybody else. Now they're saying my name. They're bragging about me in a moment where they would never have bragged about anybody else because they're like, yeah, I met him, but I can't remember his name. What's that guy? You know, the guy, the tall guy, blah, 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 right? That's how we start to identify him by the things we recognize in the first 5 seconds.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This was a masterclass in itself. So
I love it.
Bonus. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, love you tons. Hope you have an amazing, fun-filled Saturday. We'll see you back here Monday morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And till then, I'm your head brain training. Find your signal misfit. I'll see y'all where?
At the next event.
Next event. Love it, love it, love it. Somebody give me some Costa Ricas.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.
Vida. And some Lydias
Peace be with us.
with us. And the queen of helping you find your signal, Jessie Lee Ward.
Awesome.
Lee, we love you, girl. Little white fluffy.
Gurgly, gurgly, gurgly.
All right, everybody, go have some fun. I love you tons. Your signal is amazing. Thanks for sharing it with me.
Love you guys.
Oh, have a great weekend. Thank you, Sean.
Bye for now.